In a sunlit, opulent drawing room, Lady Ancilla stands with her back to a large window, casting a long shadow over her son, Scion, and his guardian knight, Hazar. The atmosphere is suffocatingly tense. Ancilla holds a folded fan, her expression unreadable as she breaks the silence. "So, my son Scion challenged some brat from the collateral line and lost?" Hazar, a middle-aged man in a suit, looks down nervously, sweat beading on his forehead. "Yes," he admits quietly. Ancilla smiles, though her eyes remain cold. "Scion, come here." The young boy hesitates, trembling, before stepping toward his mother. Suddenly, she strikes him with the folded fan. As he recoils, she presses the hard tip of the fan directly into his chest, pinning him in place. "Not only that, but he lost in a single strike?" she asks sharply. Scion grimaces in pain. Mother, it hurts." "Stay still," she commands, her eyes glowing with a terrifying intensity. She turns her gaze back to the knight. "Hazar, are you sure that brat has never trained to use his mana?" "Yes," Hazar replies, bowing his head. "The son of Sir Gerhard, Eugene, did not have a trace of mana in his body." Ancilla turns to her daughter, Seal, who is standing quietly to the side. "Seal, how did your brother lose?" Seal answers with bright enthusiasm, mimicking the action. "At the start of the fight, Eugene thrust his spear. Brother was surprised and tried to retreat, but Eugene's spear was even faster." Ancilla's eyes narrow as she processes the information. So that was how the fight ended, with a single strike. Scion looks up at her, tears in his eyes. "Mother." Before he can finish, Ancilla slaps him hard across the face. Her composure shatters, and she screams in a rage. "How dare you challenge someone to a duel and lose in front of such lowly beings? Not only that, to a boy who has never trained with mana." She looms over the terrified boy, her face twisted with fury. "Your father will soon return for the bloodline continuation ritual. What do you expect me to tell him? Do you know how much that skank Theonis will jeer at me?" Scion sobs openly now, clutching his chest. I'm sorry. Mother, I'm really sorry." Ancilla turns on Hazar, her voice dropping to a lethal calm. "Hazar, right now I want to kill you with my own hands. However, you are a knight favored by my husband." She points to the door. "Go train Scion so that he will never shame me again. Take him and leave." "Yes," Hazar replies quickly. He ushers the crying boy out of the room, leaving Ancilla and Seal alone. As the heavy doors close, Ancilla snaps her fan open with a sharp flick. She lets out a long sigh, composing herself. When she looks up, her face has returned to a mask of elegant indifference. "Seal." "Yes, mother?" the girl asks. Ancilla smiles sweetly. "That boy, you said his name was Eugene? Stay close to that boy." Seal tilts her head, confused. "Why?" "That boy is already strong enough to beat your brother," Ancilla says aloud, but internally her thoughts are murderous. "I want that brat killed immediately, but I'd be the first suspect. And in the Lionheart family, if homicide occurs, the guardians of the familial code will come. I need to avoid that at all costs." She hides a sinister smirk behind her fan. "So it's good to stay close." Seal, unaware of her mother's true intentions, beams happily. "All right, mother, I also want to learn more about him. I'll befriend Eugene." The scene shifts to the following day. 3 young boys stand in a row, introduced as the heirs of the collateral lines: Deacon, age 11, Hansen, age 14, and Jewess, age 10. Suddenly, the sound of heavy footsteps thuds against the ground as someone else approaches rapidly.
Eugene jogs across the training grounds, his chest heaving and sweat dripping from his face. He passes a startled maid in the courtyard. Young Master Eugene," she gasps. "Hey, Nina. Eugene replies between breaths, not slowing his pace. Suddenly, Nina scrambles after him, her face pale with urgency. "They're here!" Eugene slows to a walk, wiping his brow. "Oh, you said that the other two collateral heirs are coming, right? It looks like they're early." Nina shakes her head frantically, tears forming in her eyes. "Yes, however, the head of the family is also here." Eugene freezes, his eyes widen in genuine shock. "The head of the Lionhearts?" Nina begins to panic, gesturing wildly at his disheveled appearance. "You need to go greet him. Wait, first, you need to change your clothes, and—" Eugene grabs a towel and wipes the sweat from his neck, dismissing her concern. "Then I'll be the only one late. It'd be better to just go sweaty like this." The scene shifts to the main entrance of the estate. A massive retinue of servants and family members lines the path as the sun sets, casting a golden glow over the grand procession. Eugene quietly slips into the line next to a nervous-looking Cyan. Narrator: the person next to Cyan and Ciel is the second wife, Anisula. Anisula stands tall and elegant, though her expression is guarded. Beside her, Cyan trembles slightly. Narrator: the person in front of her is Theonis, the legal wife, and that kid is the eldest son of the direct family and also the first in line for succession, Iode Lionheart. Iode, a boy with pale hair and intense yellow eyes, stares straight ahead, his face a mask of anxiety. The iron gates creak open. Two riders on magnificent horses enter the grounds. The man in the lead radiates an overwhelming aura of power. Narrator: Gilad Lionheart. Gilad, the patriarch, has a thick gray beard and piercing eyes that seem to see through everything. Narrator: and following him is his younger brother, Guion. Guion rides casually behind his brother, wearing a faint, confident smile. As they dismount, Theonis watches stoically, but young Iode is sweating profusely. Gilad approaches his eldest son and places a heavy hand on his boy's head. Gilad: Iode, you've grown. Have your skills grown as well? Iode stammers, terrified. I am trying my hardest to meet your expectations, father." Gilad stares down at him for a moment in silence before moving on to the second family. His expression softens slightly as he looks at his other children. "Cyan and Ciel, I almost didn't recognize you two. Children really grow up so fast." Ciel beams up at him, bouncing on her heels. "We missed you, father." Gilad continues down the line until he reaches a stout man standing with his wife and a newborn baby. "Guilford," Gilad says, "I heard you had a son. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there for you in such a time of celebration." Guilford waves his hands dismissively, looking relieved. "Brother, do not worry about such things." Finally, Gilad turns his gaze toward the back of the group, his eyes locking onto Eugene and the other boys. "And the children of the collateral line." He surveys the gathering with a charismatic smile. "Let's have a meal together." As the sun dips below the horizon, Gilad drops the true purpose of his arrival. "We will discuss the bloodline continuation ritual."